Hi, folks. Welcome to another Catchup with Mayo live stream, which I like to do at least once a week to try and get together with you, people who watch my channel, who want to talk, who want to, I don't know, ask questions, just discuss things. I've always believed that it's good for a person who has a channel, as I do on YouTube, to associate with his viewers. I mean, I've just never been one of those people who enjoys belonging to a channel where the host just doesn't give you the time of day. Now, having said that, I do realize, I've said this many times, that it's not always easy to communicate with every single person. You can't do that. That's a big chore. And the bigger your channel gets, the more people you have, the more subscribers, the more regular comments, the busier you become, and etc. It's hard to accommodate everyone. I realize that. And I'm not trying to do that. It's impossible to do that. So I do understand when people can't be there as much as they'd like. But there are some people that could be a lot more kind of in tune with their viewership. That's all. Anyway, that was a speech I didn't expect to make. And here I am. Hello to people in the comments. James Gracia. Hello. Woodland Goblin. RD. Sena. Astro Zombie. Beetle Babe. And so on. Here we are. So, I should be with you about 90 minutes, something like that. Hello to Chris McGovern. Chris McGovern has a show. Chris McGovern's show is called The Generation X Muse, M-U-S-E. And I was a guest. I did an audio show on the podcast. So check that out, Generation X Muse. And I was on it. Thanks, Chris. It was fun to do that show. Henry, hello. Oh, today's Henry's birthday. He's 21 today. Happy birthday, Henry. I got something to tell you for your birthday. And I'm sorry that it falls on your 21st birthday. Everybody, it's funny because everybody, if they're lucky, they live a long time, and everybody has a 21st birthday. So, I have to say something for your birthday. I didn't. I was going to say this the next time I saw you in the comments. That time is right now. I'm sorry that it falls on your birthday. It's weird because this is what you're going to remember for your 21st birthday. All I want to do is ask you a favor, Henry. I'm going to put it that way to you. Listen for a minute. Please don't write to a certain person anymore. I won't say who. Don't write to this certain person anymore. Don't keep on trying to follow this person anymore, or ask help from this person anymore, or hit this person up for anything anymore. You know what I mean. I won't belabor it here. Otherwise, I'm going to have to block you here. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm sorry. It's just weird that it falls. The Gen X Muse. That's the name of it. Here it is. The Gen X Muse. That's the name of the Chris McGovern show. That's the one I appeared on. That show. Thank you. But yeah. So I just want to say, if you keep doing that, uh, I'm gonna have no choice but to block you here. And I'm sorry. Happy birthday. Have a very good birthday on your 21st. I'm sorry it came today. That's just not only your luck, but my luck. If you knew how my timing goes in life with things, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. But that's how it is. So hello to Mystery Train and Buffalo Beetle and Rome Loves Dan and Martin McGrath and that's a very Ringo message. He says that's a very Ringo message from you, Joe. Ha ha. Yeah, but the difference is I'm much nicer. Well, actually, I should say I'm warning you. Yeah, thank you, Martin. I'll say that I'm warning you with peace and love, Henry. I'm warning you. So thank you. All right. Happy birthday, peace and love. I'm gonna have to block you. No, no. I'm saying if you keep bothering a certain person here who does not does not welcome your writing. That's all I can say. Please, please, just be cool. That's all I'm asking. Okay, and I still want you to have a happy birthday. Look at it as a birthday gift from me to you. It's weird timing. Weird timing for sure. Sometimes you can't help the timing. Guess the Mets are not coming back and winning today. Well, I don't know. I haven't followed. I haven't watched a single game this year. They're beyond hope, so I haven't bothered. Okay. This. I appreciate you asking this, James. You say I keep missing Fab Gab. When do you usually do the program so I can catch it? Well, there's no set time, James, where I do Fab Gab, and I've missed a lot of shows. I was trying to do them at least one show a month, maybe two shows a month. There's no definite time. When it comes time for a Fab Gab show, just stay subscribed to my channel, keep watching, and you'll see I'll have an ad. It'll say, if it's going to be live, it'll say Fab Gab live. Some of them are live, some of them are not live, depending on what the topic is. But I've really been wanting to keep doing Fab Gab shows. So I've been wanting to get back on board with that. So if people still want to see them, and I assume they do, I want to do that. This is interesting. This is very interesting. This is Lila, I say this every time. I appreciate your questions. You come up with some very creative and different questions, and I like different questions. And this one is weird because I was just mentioning this to somebody the other day. You say, even though I'm retired, is Saturday my favorite day? No. Saturday is not my favorite day really anymore. I still like Saturday, but you know what my favorite day is now? It's going to freak you all out. Monday. Monday. That's right. The day that everybody hates. Monday, Monday. Why is Monday my favorite day as a retiree? Because it's the first day of the week when everybody's working and I'm not. And I have all the free time and I'm out there. I can go to stores and nobody's there. Everybody's at work or school and places are empty and I don't have to worry about crowds. So I love Monday because it's the start of a whole week. And it's funny, as a retiree, it's Saturday and Sunday that I don't like as much anymore. Isn't that crazy? Because Saturday and Sunday as a retiree, Saturday and Sunday are days when everybody's off or everybody's available and the roads are crowded and everything you do, stores are crowded. So there you go. That's a very interesting question. So, Mr. Blood Vessel had free Mets tickets for today and gave them away. I salute you, sir. That's a good idea. I salute you for that. That's a good idea. Uh, Somebody's got to love Mondays, and that somebody is me. I love Mondays now. I love Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The days that you usually work are the days now that I love that I used to hate. Saturday's still all right, but you know. Hello, EKR. What do I think about Paul playing on the new Stones album? I think it's great. I think it's great, and I wonder what it's going to be. I thought he was playing about two or three songs. I think three songs on the new Stones album. Okay, Adam says, "My believe it or not, my favorite Stones album is Voodoo Lounge. Are you familiar with it?" No, I'm not. I mean, I love the Stones. I really do. I like the Stones. I like the '60s Stones. I like the '70s. I even like some of the '80s Stones. I like Emotional Rescue. I like Tattoo You. I even like some of Undercover. Um, then later on, I like Steel Wheels. But after the '80s, I'm kind of done with the Stones. Honestly, I've never heard Voodoo Lounge. Henry says, I may be a Zoomer, but I can't stand the other Zoomers on Twitter stating that the Beatles are overrated. Well, people, a lot of people like to think that just to be, I don't think the word is cool anymore, but whatever it is, just to be different, just to be a rebel, just to show that they don't think like everybody else, that they have their own way of being. So it's cool to like say, I'm not into the Beatles and all that kind of stuff. Do I have any guilty pleasures listening to Boy George? Well, I do enjoy Culture Club. I mean, you know, the few hit songs that Culture Club has. Partridge Family, some of the again, Partridge Family, only a few songs. Some Osmonds. The ones that the Ohio Express, 1910 Fruit Company, whatever what name of that is, things like that. Engelbert Humperdinck, I like stuff like that. What does Richard Marx have to do with Ringo? I see he's going to be on Ringo's new album. I thought Richard Marx sounded familiar. My girlfriend wanted to see Richard Marx. I almost had to go. She said, "I want to go to see Richard Marx on X and X a date." When the date came, she forgot about it. So thank God, because I would have went with her. I would have supported her and went with her, but I didn't bring it up again. She forgot it, and that was it. I didn't have to go. I would have went. Uh, Danny's here. Did I say hello to Danny Ambrosi? Hello, Danny Ambrosi. Yeah, Danny. I'm so glad. Oh, there he is. Every day should be your favorite. Oh, okay. No, every day's not my favorite. I'm not ashamed to say that I have favorites and least favorites, and I'm not 100% nicey nice about everything and optimistic about everything. I'm very real. But anyway, I'll tell you, Danny, it was good for you. It was enjoyable to see you on Doc Dacus's chat the other day. Good to see you here back. So, let's see. I don't know if you've ever discussed it, but what did you think of McCartney 123 with Rick Rubin? Well, that was quite some time ago, over a year or more, a couple of years. But I did enjoy it. I did a video on it. You can check my video, and I can't remember exactly what I thought of it, but it was interesting, very interesting. I'd like to see more footage of it. I hear that there's more footage that wasn't shown. They spent more time. You know. Do you think hype stickers placed on the throwaway clear wrapping is a pain and bad marketing placement? I love hype stickers. I don't know if you know that about me, but I love hype stickers. Yeah, you say there's no such thing as guilty pleasures. Songs are there for us to enjoy. Yes, I know. I mean, I'm not really, when I say guilty pleasures, I'm not really guilty I don't feel guilty for liking them, but it's just something that, something you call them. You know, that's just some things that people tend to laugh at or look down on. Doesn't mean that, we feel the same way, but, um, hello, Scott. Am I anxious for the new Planet of the Apes movie? Why not? I really liked the first five Apes movies, no surprise, from 68 to 73. I hated the Tim Burton nonsense from 2001, garbage movie, one of the worst movies ever. But I didn't mind the new series. The new series wasn't bad, and I guess I'm kind of looking forward to it. I could take it or leave it, but sure. It's very rare these days where you actually are interested, or I should say, speaking for myself, I'm actually interested in a new release movie. What do I think about the new Oppenheimer film? The only thing I think of it is I have no desire to see it, no interest. Tanner Johnson, always good to see you, sir, making an appearance. I was just thinking today, I wonder if we will be getting the new Ringo EP this year, or if they'll possibly wait until next year because of the new Beatle release. Well, I'm guessing. I mean, I don't know for a fact. I don't want to make any like proclamations here, as if I know something for a fact that not everybody has said yet. But I really, from everything I can surmise, we're going to get at least one EP this year from Ringo. I think I don't know. The Beatles release, we don't know when the Beatles release is coming out. It's strongly said it's going to be September next month. But you still have October and November and December for Ringo to have an EP out. So maybe he's going to put it out to kind of coincide with the Beatles release to give it maybe a little more interest. I don't know, but I think there's going to be one EP. How do I feel about Paul doing another live concert in Australia and beyond? Well, I've said that I pretty much am happy for people in Australia because it seems that the Australians didn't have as much of a chances to see Paul as other people have had, and I'm glad that they have some more chance. And seeing Paul is now going to be playing Australia and Brazil later this year, and I think it's great. I've said in general though that I'm kind of okay if Paul just wraps it up and never plays live again or tours again, and just concentrates in the studio making new studio albums. As what I would like to see Paul do as many new studio albums as he can muster up for his remaining time. That's what I would like for Paul to do. That said, if he does tour the United States again in 2025 or something, or 24, excuse me, not 2024, I guess I'll be there, you know. So, what was my last huge purchase besides a new computer where we had to buy a new TV? But, that's the two of us. When I say we, it's together, it's a partnership, my girlfriend and I together. But, you know. Farrell McNulty is so sick to death of people crying overrated every 10 seconds. Who am I to say, oh, that's overrated? I don't read ratings, so what the hell do I know? Well, all overrated means is that there's something that gets a lot of positive acclaim, and a person just feels that it's not quite as great as people make it out to be. So to them, it's overrated, and I think you're entitled to that opinion. I'm entitled to that opinion. Everyone's entitled to that opinion, or any opinion, or underrated. That's for things that get terrible reviews, very low reviews, and you think it's rated too low. Um, are there any new films coming out that I'm anxious to see? Well, the only one really that I can think of is Exorcist Believer. I'm anxious to see the next Exorcist movie. That's one. Um, was Slow Down and Matchbox on the top 10 list, and which was the A and B side? Well, Slow Down, I believe, was the A side, I think. And I really don't know if it was on the top 10 list. I don't think so. Hello to JL Draw. I got to say, JL Draw, and I just wondered, can you fill us in on any more information? I think you're one of the people that had said there was going to be some news this week on the Beatles, and there was none. So I don't know. I don't. Some people are guessing that because Taylor Swift dropped news about a new album, that's why maybe the Beatles did not. Jaws should be in the movies right now with all the shark attacks in the New York area. It's funny you should say that. This month there are not one but two outdoor showings of Jaws in this area. They're going to have two outdoor showings of Jaws out. Certain locations. They're going to have screenings outside. I may go to one or both or none. I don't know yet. How long have I been with Mrs. Mayo and how we met and everything? We met from I'll tell you. I'll just tell you basically how we met was eHarmony. And some people like that idea, some people frown on that idea. I was always one of those people, I'm very old fashioned. I'd rather meet naturally. There's nothing greater than when you just meet naturally. But I came to think after a time that, well, if I'm going to wait to meet somebody just out of the blue, the chances that you're going to meet somebody just anywhere, whether it's a supermarket, a library, a bank, or a club or a bar, the chances that you're just going to meet somebody that is very good for you, like you're good for her and she's good for you, and you match good, the chances of that happening are very, very slim, if at all. So I'll basically say that I had been married. I was married for many years, and we both separated and got divorced. And I was worried about how long it would take for me to find somebody that was a good match. And all I could tell you is Mrs. Mayo is, a good match for me. And nothing's perfect, folks. And but I'm very lucky. And most of it is, she understands collecting. She's a collector. That's why we have a lot of crap in our stuff. Nothing's perfect. We don't have the same views on movies, for example. Joe needs to have more live chats during the week soon. Well, that's what I call the Mayo Lounge. I'm going to try to do more of those, or at least one a week or something. The Mayo Lounge, and yes, when we do Mayo Lounge here, I hope that Danny Ambrosi and Woodland Goblin will come up. So, okay, what do George Harrison, Fred Astaire, Bob Dylan, and Laurel and Hardy all have in common? They're all male. Do you think it's crazy to believe that Ringo is singing to Paul in Don't Pass Me By? I do think it's crazy. I've never heard that. Ringo's never confirmed that. Anybody who thinks that, it's just a it's just a guess or a fan generated thing. I have not seen The Pope's Exorcist. And there's so many Exorcist movies. The Exorcism of Emily Rose and God knows what else. The announcement of impending Beatles release was delayed on Thursday morning. Well, as delayed as an announcement that was never relayed to the general public can possibly be, I suppose. I also bought a new laptop and an OLED TV this year. Also got an e-bike, which I just got back from a 10-mile trip. Have to keep the weight off. Hey, look, I admit it. With me, as you can see, I mean, it's an up and down thing. It's always been an up and down thing my whole life. And sometimes I'm very consistent, and sometimes I'm not consistent. And that's really all I could say. Right now I'm on a more consistent mode. You know. And regarding Beatles stuff specifically, that's all I can say at this time due to a media embargo, which I'm choosing to honor. Okay, thank you. Much appreciated there, JL. Do I have any kids? None that I know of. All those people are on the Sergeant Pepper album cover that Lila listed before. Okay, I never thought of that. I wish the Harrison estate would get on the bandwagon and put out more of George's material. It's been far too long. Don't I agree? The Harrisons are very, very weak with that, and they really got to step it up for the fans. And I'm hoping we're going to get some kind of announcement of some kind of George product, solo product, by the end of this year. Whether it's a deluxe version of Living in the Material World or something like that. In your car, you have a CD player. My new car doesn't. So now I have to rip my CDs and put them on files, etc., on my phone, etc. My car that I got, I'm told that they stopped making CD players in cars around 2016, and my car was a used car, 2019 model. So there's no CD player in it, but I do have a portable CD player that is easy enough to take. And you have one auxiliary jack and you hook it into the car, and that's what I do. I should get Danny to join the movie chats. Well, I think I asked him about that, and I think he said no, something like that. Okay. JL Draw says McCartney did an interview with a Brazilian interviewer this week that has been partially released. mentioned the Brazilian tour next year and that he's working on new material that he hopes to take out on the road next year. Wow. God bless Paul. Say what you will, or I'll say what I will at times. That man is amazing. He has never stopped since the 1950s. 1950s. The man he's always into it. He's always keeping active, always keeping busy, always making music. It's fantastic. We're very lucky, very privileged to have Paul. With the release of Elvis in Hawaii again, do you think he is one of the artists we have hit a wall with? That anything comes out now has been heard many times? Yes, I do. Elvis has been done to death. Elvis has been done to death probably more than the Beatles. There's still a lot of Beatles live stuff and things we could get, and some studio sessions. Elvis, I mean, I'm not, I like Elvis. I'm not as much of a diehard as some other people. But from what I know about Elvis, I think we really hit the wall with it. Yeah, I think yeah, really. How many times has Aloha from Hawaii, the 1973 show? How many times has that been released and re-released? You know, have I got any other major passions apart from music and movies? No, I mean, music and movies are my favorite things, and that's and television, music, and movies, and those are enough already. I think that's a full-time job, James, handling just those. That's already full time. And women. I think women. Look, I still look. I still look. What can I tell you? Love women. Is living in the material world the next album George made? After all things must pass. Yes, it is. Yeah, yes, it was Beetle Babe. Next studio album. We did Bangladesh in between. Bangladesh being the live album. The Atlanta Braves, Metsies 21-3. What can I tell you? George is the only one Beetle Babe is not super familiar with the solo work of, but like to change that. Yeah, there's always time. That's the beautiful thing. The solo careers of the Beatles are not as played out, as tired, as overdone as the Beatles themselves. There's always more room to learn more solo stuff and treat yourself to stuff you've never heard with the solo Beatles. What's my top three Beatle ballads, slow songs? The first three that come to mind. Well, the first one is "And I Love Her." I think "And I Love Her" is one of the most beautiful songs by Paul ever. And I Love Her is the first one. I mean, if it's easy to say "If I Fell" next, although I don't think "If I Fell" is really. "If I Fell" has never been one of my favorites. "And I Love Her" is. There's a case where I pick Paul over John. In my life, if you call "In My Life" a slow song or ballad, yeah. And I guess for no one, those are the first three anyway that I'm thinking of. If I had more time to think, wrong about Elvis. FTD, that's Follow That Dream, is still releasing unreleased material. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, well, FTD is pretty amazing. I don't. I wish I had every FTD release. I don't. I know "Girls, Girls, Girls" was one of them. A soundtrack to "Girls, Girls, Girls." And I guess with Elvis, there's always more live shows, audience shows, and things. But it's the same material, though. You know. Are there any sports I like playing? Golf? No, I never understood the appeal of golf. The only thing, the only thing about golf is I can appreciate being out with friends, out in the nice weather on the greens. But the actual game is ridiculous. Although I do like miniature golf, all those mazes and slides and hills and doodads and windmills and things. I've got a very dry throat today, folks. Wow, don't know what's going on with that. No, never played a game of chess in my life. Don't have any interest. I don't really play sports. When I was younger, I played sports. I played some, softball, things like that. I did like the remake of A Little Less Conversation about 15 years ago, Elvis song. Hit number one. Yeah, I remember that. Do you think Paul, Ringo, and the estates of John and George will ever okay the release of the Beatles cartoons? I hope so. I know a lot of people out there hate the Beatles cartoons. I've got a soft spot for them because I saw them when they were first on TV when I was 3 and 4 and 5 years old. And that's part of why I'm a Beatles fan today. They got me into the Beatles. I thought the Beatles were funny. I thought the Beatles were humorous. I got to love their music because they played the songs. They played the actual songs, the records on the show. Um, I didn't care that I didn't know or care that they didn't sound like the real Beatles. They're fun. And I really wish they would do that so that younger generations, new generations, kids could get to maybe get into the Beatles that way. It's a very good gateway into the Beatles for children. Do I think they're ever going to put them out? I'm highly doubtful of it for a number of reasons. I don't know the legalities. I don't know what the legal rights are as far as the feeling of the Beatles not being represented well. Like Ringo looks like the silly dummy, and the voices are not good, and all this. There's also a problem of political incorrectness. There's a lot of things in some, not a, I say a lot. There's some things in the cartoons that are not really that wouldn't go over too good politically, and I wish they would. I don't know, have a disclaimer over them or something like that, because it's a shame if you can't get those out. I really don't know if they'll ever come out. I'm doubtful, very doubtful at this point, but I'd like to see them. Do I still get physical exercise now that I'm retired? Well, I'll be honest again, what I do is I try to walk every day. I walk today. The main thing I try to do is walk, cardio. I want to keep my legs moving. I want to keep the blood flowing. I want to keep my knees in decent shape. I want to keep the lungs clear. All the cardio stuff. All right. That's the most that I do. When I was working, I was much more physical. I was a mailman, and that involved going up and down stairs all the time to houses, up and down stoops. It also required going in and out of a truck many times, in and out, lugging, which eventually became about 200 or more parcels a day, especially around the holidays, because we had to deal with Amazon, Amazon delivery, and we had to deal with COVID at the end when COVID was really taking over and everybody was ordering things from home. So I don't get nearly as much as I did when I was working. No, but I do try to keep walking and keep active that way. Now, having said that, there are times where I miss a day or two. You get lazy and you say, I won't walk today or tomorrow. You have to do it every day, and that's one of my goals. My goal is to walk every day. I walked today. I didn't walk yesterday, but or the day before, but today I walked. And yeah, so I want to keep it going, every day. I want it to be a 7 day a week thing, you know. Yeah, I've seen the movie Theater of Blood. That's a good one. Yeah, Vincent Price killing his art critics. That's a good one. I'm not a Vincent Price guy. I'm a Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi guy. Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee. But I do like Vincent Price a little, even if it's the least. I think Henry will disagree with me there. You know, JL Draw says he likes the Beatles cartoons, or she. I'm sorry, I don't know if you're a male or a female. I've never known that. I don't think I know that. I just don't see how they contribute to the legacy of the Beatles in the 21st century. Apple owns the rights to them now, so there's nothing blocking it. Oh well, then they should put them out. Maybe that'll be the announcement. Maybe that'll be the announcement. Um, How do they contribute to the legacy of the Beatles in the 21st century? I think very much. I think just by, again, as I said, possibly if they were shown on television and kids saw them, or maybe the parents bought the cartoons for them to play for them when they're like 3, 4, 5 years old. Maybe that. So I do think they could contribute, in my opinion. Please, Joe, help me. I love all the solo stuff except for Ringo, except the new few hits from the first album. I find Ringo's solo stuff to be super simple and predictable. Please help me. I can't help you there. If you feel that way, the thing to do with Ringo, I guess, it depends how invested you are. If you're invested enough into trying it all out, you could listen to Ringo, I guess, on YouTube or Spotify or whatever without buying it if you want, however it works. I don't know how it works. Download it or whatever, stream it. And maybe some of the songs will click for you because I'll tell you, it does get predictable, especially it gets predictable in recent years. But I like a lot of the Ringo songs. I mean, yeah, either people like Ringo or they don't. I guess I don't know. But there's some gems to be found. There's good stuff to be found in there. The only question is how much effort do you want to put in? Is it worth it to you? You know. I'm not huge on it either, Joe. But what is it about American football that you hate so much? I just never grew up with football. I find it boring, dull, and people say it's exciting. And they call baseball dull. I personally think baseball is more interesting and it has more. You have to think it out. It's a little bit more a thinking sport. I think strategy and stuff. But maybe I'm wrong because I know with football you have to come up with those plays and those strategic lines and all this. But I don't watch much football. I just find it boring as hell, and that's really all there is to it. And the fact that the whole country is into football so much makes it tough. It's another thing I hate about those winter months is because it's all about football and the Super Bowl and all that kind of crap, and you got to listen to everybody talking about it. I know that occasionally I tried watching a little bit of football, and it's like they take forever to set up. It's like okay, go. They move like 3 feet, stop, take a break, go. Move another foot or two, get tackled, stop. Boring. Yes, the Beatles cartoons do look very different from today's cartoons. Those tunes were long before CGI, obviously. Let's get some more class in these people. I have never had any problem with For me personally, let young people discover that stuff. Stop like catering to them. That they have to the CGI garbage. You know, um, I mean Bugs Bunny and all that great animation and Popeye and all that stuff was long before CGI too, but that looked great. Um, what more can I say about it? It's just accept when it is. And I know people said they never liked the animation of the Beatles cartoons. The animation's not great, but personally, I like the animation better than Yellow Submarine. Okay, that's just not my Yellow Submarine's a little too weird and psychedelic looking. Yeah, it would be interesting to see if they could work on new cartoons, new Beatle cartoons that were a little bit more respectful and maybe work better today. I'd be up for that. Yeah, disclaimers explaining the context, like the Warner Brother cartoon DVD sets. Yeah, they put them on there, and if that's what it takes to put them out, I'm all for it. So what you got to do? Yeah, I agree with this. Well, if you're gonna the first Ringo album to try, in my opinion, is "Time Takes Time." Listen to the "Time Takes Time" album. See if you like that. I hate to say this to recommend it, but it's kind of Beatley. So if you like the Beatles, it's a little Beatley. Time takes time. So how do I own Beatles solo interviews? Are there any particular CD releases? Bootlegs, and a lot of them that I own are from you know um, video things, visual things, interviews, TV interviews, and shows from all different countries, not just the states. Hello, Claire. Do you think it will be sometime next week when we will hear news about the possible Red and Blue album releases? I sure hope so, because I really don't know for sure. And I've heard there's people out there that were laughing and saying, "Ha ha ha!" All these people out there were following the rumor mill, and they were going out there thinking they were so sure there was going to be Beatles announcements this week, and there weren't. Ha ha ha! And some people listening will know who I'm referring to, but. Hey, look, what are you going to do? It makes sense that they're going to announce something soon because supposedly we were going to get this Beatles song and some stuff by the fall. So if that's the case, you got to announce it first. Press release, you know. Oh, you don't know the half of it. Well, you're carrying the mail, climbing the steps, carrying the mail in a mail sack on one side. The other side, you're carrying parcels and magazines and things. Yeah, it's tough. It's very physical. Yeah, I know this. There was going to be a CGI, a new version of Yellow Submarine, and it did get abandoned. Yeah. Well, what did you think of Targets? Let me know what you thought. Maybe you said it in a follow-up comment. It's more. I want more than just that you saw it. I want to know what you thought of it. I think it's great. Targets. Well, then, if you don't like it, you don't like it. If it's too simple, don't listen to it. I don't know what to tell you. Cycling is a good way to keep fit. You get to go places you may not want to walk to, and also Mrs. Mayo would have a bike too. Great day out for both of you. Where do you keep the bikes? Where do you store the bikes? We don't have any. There's no room in this apartment to store the bikes. Although, in all fairness, there is a storage unit. We have a storage unit downstairs. But yeah, that's something. But absolutely. You say I retired from a similar job, but I have bad knees and back and a pin in my hip. You got to keep moving. I agree. It's one thing I know. Um, a lot of people will tell you, just look at Paul and Ringo, okay, or William Shatner. These people move. You got to move. There's no doubt about that. You got to keep moving. I think that's one of the secrets to getting older. Unless you have any kind of an accident or something, or you get older and you have some kind of a health challenge or something with a walker or a cane or a wheelchair, if failing that, if you don't have that, you have to move. And I agree. Don't you hate it when guys in public try to talk to you about football? I always have to tell them I don't follow football. And they look at me like I got three heads. I proudly tell them. I'm proud to tell them I don't care about football. You know, and by the way, I'm reading all the comments. I sometimes I don't highlight certain ones because there's nothing really I have to add. But I'll read them. But hello, Wes. Wes says, since Apple loves Disney Plus, wouldn't that be the perfect platform to really stream the cartoons? Gives the bootleggers a chance to get better quality video. Yes, and remember, folks, if Apple doesn't put them out, the bootleggers are going to do that. By the way, Joe, you made me laugh this week. I was watching a video where you ran up to the UPS guy delivering albums to the record store and you asked him if he has the new Paul album. I actually asked him if he had the new Ringo album. I don't know if you're talking about the same video. This is going back to, I think it's 2017. And I was saying the video I'm thinking of. Maybe you're right, but I remember one where I'm saying, "Do you have the new Ringo album? I got to get the new Ringo album before it's sold out." Meaning that nobody's going to really buy it except for me for a joke. You know. I don't know about the Yellow Submarine being brought up again. The new one. Even though I kind of don't like a lot of serious remakes like that and stuff. Doing things over and over. To give the Beatles some clout and attention again for young people, sure, why not? Joe, do you have a sweet tooth every day? I know I do. Um, yeah, I like sweets, obviously, and you have to. The worst thing you can eat is sugar. We talked about that before on various live streams. Um, I try to when I'm doing well, when I'm being consistent, I'm doing things right, like I'm just drinking water, no soda or anything. And when I want something sweet, what I try to do is eat fruit. That's the way I look at it. If you want something sweet, I have an apple. You know. Hello, John. Good morning from New Zealand. Oh, good morning. Do you have or look for Beatles New Zealand pressings? I don't. I can't tell now if I have any. I may have. I may have them. I don't, I'm thinking I have a few, but I don't know what they are. Hmm. Imports. I get mixed up between imports versus exports. But anyway, I don't go out of my way to look for them. If I see them and they have an interesting cover, different cover variation, art, I definitely pick them up. Now that time has passed, what do you think of the "Fuh You" song? This song makes me cringe so bad. I actually enjoy some of it. At first, didn't like any of it. I like the part. I don't know if it's the chorus, the part that says, "I want to know how you feel, want to love that's." I forget the word. So unreal, or whatever. You make me want to steal. That part I like, and it's a double entendre. Paul was trying to get attention by it. It's kind of obvious. Um, he's not saying what you think he's saying, but he kind of makes you think he could be saying that. And I don't love the song. It's never going to be in a top list of my favorite 100 McCartney songs. But I can enjoy it now more than I did in the beginning. Do you really think Seinfeld or Curb Your Enthusiasm isn't funny? I know it's not for everyone, but they're classic TV for sure. I've never said that. I own every season of Curb Your Enthusiasm. I love Curb Your Enthusiasm. And Seinfeld I like too. So I don't know. I don't know. I certainly never said that. The word the word clout is not a new lingo, Henry. Clout is an old word. Apples suck. Well, it depends. There are a lot of different kinds of apples out there. Different tastes. Some of them are so sour than others. Some of them are sweeter than others. Some are more crunchy than others. There's all kinds. Um, but there's also oranges and bananas and peaches and plums and things like that. So I've seen people on YouTube doing the top 10 albums they listen to. Would you do one? No. I mean, I could do one, and the top 10 albums I listen to are not all Beatles. But the problem is there's a certain 10 albums, my favorite albums. I've done those many times. Not recently, but I've done that many times. And stuff like Fleetwood Mac's "Rumors" come up, and stuff like Blondie's "Eat to the Beat" album come up, and so forth. So it's the same old thing every time I do one. So a lot of people ask me this: if most valuable official Beatles record I have, and I honestly don't think any of my records that I have are extremely valuable. I don't think I have anything. I can't even think of one. I mean, I have some of the VJ albums that might be worth something. Some of the imports maybe worth $100 each or something, but nothing really outrageous that I can think of. High up outrageous. You know. Yeah, Paul is very subtle, but that's all. Now we're going to get into a Paul debate because, yeah, I understand the fun in being subtle because it makes people think what they want to think. But then again, that leads to confusion, and it leads to people getting the wrong idea. Like John Lennon thought that "Dear Boy" was about him, and it was not about him. It was about Linda's ex husband, for example, or stuff like that. But what do you expect? That's not John's fault. The fact that Paul's so subtle about things. Some things were about John, and he was right. John, like too many people. But he's subtle. But also, you got to sometimes have the onions to be able to just come out and say it. Sometimes too. Well, this is Plastic Ono Band and Imagine to me are John's two very best solo albums. The problem is they're both great and they're equal to me. Plastic Ono Band is great because it has a lot of deep depression. It has the deep feelings and gut wrenching, heartfelt emotions of John, the primal scream. Imagine is also honest and from the soul. However, it's a little bit more commercial. So I always give Imagine the slight edge. I think Plastic Ono Band is John's masterpiece. Imagine right there. But I give the edge to Imagine just because it's more, easily accessible. You know. George Thorogood, I like some of his songs. That's all I could say. I remember when I was watching Live Aid, and nobody ever talks about this. He did a song that I'd never heard before. I think it's a cover song. It's called "The Sky Is Crying." He did that, and he had a slide guitar he was playing, which was amazing. And I saw that on Live Aid, and I liked it very much. I know it's on one of his albums. I think it's on "Move It On Over," the album. Move it on over. But you know me, right? All I know about is the Beatles. I don't know any other albums or care about anybody else. Oh, gotta love that. Um, yeah, it is amazing, Danny. Paul McCartney can write hundreds of songs, and where do these songs come from? They all sound catchy. They're earworms. They're tricky. You can tap your foot to most of them. They stay in the memory, and they all sound different. It's amazing. It is quite a gift. Did the carrying that mailbag mess up your shoulder and rotator cup? As far as we know, no. As far as I know, unless things reveal themselves, you know. You know. So far, so good. Let's not borrow trouble. You know. The one McCartney album I hope they don't reissue as a box is Give My Regards to Broad Street. What's your feeling? My feeling is that I most certainly do hope that they put out Give My Regards to Broad Street. Not one of my favorite projects from Paul, but I'd love a deluxe set that has all kinds of goodies and maybe different takes of songs and history and booklets and posters and maybe even, it's a lot to ask for, but maybe some outtakes from the movie. No, I would love that. I say put everything out with the deluxe set. I want every Paul album out like that. I know Woodland Goblin likes to say that Paul has Yesterday and John has Imagine. I still say that Yesterday, while it's probably Paul's most, you know, popular and amazing, everlasting song and all that, it doesn't have the same feeling of it being a world anthem for the ages and how we can live together. It doesn't have anything like that to me. I don't think Paul has an iconic anthem. Do I find myself only listening to the ultimate mixes when available now for John Lennon solo stuff? I No, not always. Not always. Sometimes. Well, hello, Peter Boothroyd. My girlfriend believes that Paul is going to die on stage, and he wants to die on stage. I don't think Paul wants to die on stage. I hope he's going to be working right up till the end, whenever that may be. But I hope he doesn't die. Actually, literally, physically die on stage. No. And although I know what she means when she says she thinks Paul wants that, I don't think Paul wants that either. Like this, for example. Have I ever seen Billy Joel in concert? Well, I actually do like Billy Joel. For some reason, a lot of people don't like Billy Joel. I think it's something about a lot of people like him from Long Island and New York and stuff like that. I like Billy Joel. Think he's very talented. Think he's had a lot of great music. But yet I've never seen him live except in 2017 when he joined Paul McCartney on stage at the end of Paul McCartney's concert. That's the only time I ever saw him. I had plenty of times to see Billy Joel, many times to see him at Madison Square Garden in New York City, but I just never did. So, yes, I did get the Wings Over America archive edition. Yes, I did. Well, you're entitled to that opinion. Martin says yesterday is a better song than Imagine. Much better, just my opinion. I disagree. Very much. Oh no, well that depends. It's two different things, isn't it? If you're asking me, isn't yesterday still the most covered song in the history of popular music? If you want to ask which one is the most covered song, then yesterday would win. If you want to ask which one is an anthem for the ages and which one is speaks about the world and comments on the world more, I think it's Imagine. Okay, thanks very much, Henry. You're talking about, yeah, we do a show on Andy Nichols, Tom Hunyadi, and Beatley Tones Beatles channel. We do a show over there on the Two Legs podcast. It's called Stuck Inside These Four Walls, and it's a lot of fun. Well, the thing you got to understand too, Woodland, with all due respect, is that you're a Paul McCartney fanatic, and you've got to always have Paul come out on top, or at least equal with John in every way. You can't ever give John that one thing. One thing. Just give him one thing over Paul. Just one thing. That's all I ask of you. When listening to All Things Must Pass, you end it before the instrumental jams. I most certainly do. I have never heard the Apple Jam. And once again, I'll repeat, I keep saying that someday I'm going to make videos listening full to the Apple Jam. I'm telling you what I think of it. And also listening to Two Virgins, listening to Life with the Lion, listening to the Wedding album, listening to Electronic Sound, listening to the first Fireman album. I keep saying I'm going to do those videos, and I have never done them. What am I waiting for? Retirement? Oh, that's right. I'm retired over a year. No excuses. I would. Yes, I would also agree. If I had to pick, I would pick Elton John over Billy Joel. I don't know why it's either or, but you know. Okay, Yesterday is an iconic song, I suppose. Woodland says regarding never giving John something over Paul. Oh, come on, I can, Joe. This is your time. Give me something that John has over Paul. You know, but, but not something stupid like he's got. I don't know. He like his shirts better or something like that. Did I like my supervisor at the post office? Well, I don't know who you are, Alex. Maybe you're one of them. But all I could tell you is I had a lot of different supervisors over the years. I didn't just have one, and most of them I did not like at all. Some of them I liked better than others. Some of them were worse than others. But the thing is, with the post office, there's a certain mentality in there. It's almost like they go to post office supervisor school and learn how to be idiots, and stuff like that, And yeah, so there you go. Woodland promises next time in live chat he will reveal some advantages of John over Paul. Let It Be and Imagine is a better comparison. I love Let It Be is a much better song than Yesterday, as far as I'm concerned. I think Let It Be says a lot more, but still, it's not an anthem. But it is iconic also. And Hey Jude is iconic. Yeah, I didn't go this far. No, 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 no. I'm not a completist. I'm not a completist. I'm close to a completist. Definitely, definitely, definitely would not have all the Thomas the Tank Engines. No episodes. No. And there's plenty of things I don't have. There are a lot of people out there that think, oh, this guy has to have everything. This guy buys anything. This guy buys everything. I could be here all day listing a bunch of things I just skipped out on that did not buy, did not add to my Beatles or solo Beatles collection. You know. Aha. Well, no, there was some supervisors definitely were cooler to work for. You know, there's no doubt about that. And a lot of them were dicks. Or this, I'll use the c word for the women. A lot of them were. So, but there were people that were pretty cool and fair. It's definitely ketchup. Ketchup with a K. But of course, I call this live stream Catchup with Mayo with a C. But never ever Catsup. I don't know where that comes from. Catsup reminds me of an episode of King of Queens. Douglas, would you please pass the catsup? Call it ketchup, the right thing, and then I'll pass it. So Well, these are some interesting opinions. John over Paul. John's Christmas song. John's Irish song. John's part in a day in the life. Strawberry Fields greater than Penny Lane. Just a few. There you go. What are some foods you will never eat? Well, one thing about me is that I've always said, well, when I was a young, my girlfriend, my maternal grandmother taught me to try anything and try everything, but decide if you like it or not. So there's very few things I won't eat. The only thing I could think that I'm not wild about, honestly, is radishes. I'm not big on radishes. I'm not big on cucumbers for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, pickles I like, but cucumbers not so much. Um, but it's very hard to find something. I'm not sure about this question. I like beets. Beets I enjoy. I enjoy liver. Yes, I like liver. Liver and onions with ketchup. Liver and onions. Yes, I like liver and I like liverwurst. Um, it's funny. When you go to a restaurant, they don't have liver anymore, and you can't find liver in your supermarkets either. For some reason, you can't find liver anymore. Andy looks like the type who could eat anything. I'm not sure of that. I'm not sure of that. Yes, I agree. The King of Queens was great, and Jerry Stiller, yes, as Arthur was outstanding and better than he even was on Seinfeld. He was good as George Costanza's dad on Seinfeld, but he took that to an even bigger leap of perfection when it was King of Queens. Andy is not a collector of anything, you see from my videos. I mean, he has some things. I don't know what he's interested in. He likes comic books, but then again, he only has a few. He's not a big collector of anything. He holds on to his money mostly. So, yeah. If Disney did a new version of Yellow Submarine and it was good enough, it wasn't embarrassing, it wasn't bad, and it worked out and gave the Beatles some new attention to new youngsters, fine. I was okay with me. Am I a Girls fan? No, I don't care. I figure the Golden Girls is a show for old people, old ladies in particular. I know my grandmother, again, referencing my grandmother again, she loved the show. I could see like old women loving the Golden Girls, but it's funny. I saw this one young male comes to my record store and he wears a backpack with Golden Girls on it. I think is Golden Girls like a thing for certain people these days? You know what I mean? I don't know. How heavy metal do I get? I don't know. Depends on the song. I mean, I can listen to "Come On Feel." You tell me, Quiet Right. I can listen to "Come On Feel the Noise." I can listen to "We're Not Going to Take It." I can listen to Def Leppard, "Bring It On" the Heartbreak. Um, Hell's Bells. I don't know if that's all heavy metal or not. No, I never told that story. Nothing ever happened like that. Funny, funny, funny. I don't go by this. I like bologna. I don't have it often. Maybe I eat bologna like I don't know, three or four, 5 times a year. But the thing is, I don't want to hear that because you could say that about everything. You wouldn't want to eat Jello if you knew what was in Jello either. Jello and hot dogs, what they put in hot dogs. You know. Yep. In fact, we're supposed to go out to eat tonight again. We don't know where we're going or what we're having, but gotta try to be good. Jello is good for your nails, maybe because it contains horse's hooves. Do you know that Jello contains horse's hooves? This happened one other time, right? We did a show and it became all about food and culinary stuff and this and that. Seem to remember this. Am I an animal lover? Well, you have to define an animal lover. I like animals. I think a lot of them are cute. I'm a sucker. I love cats. I love cats. I love birds. I love dogs when they're nice, friendly pups. I don't like loud, obnoxious dogs that show their teeth and like I want to tear your lungs out, like pit bulls that want to destroy you. I don't like that. But I do have one thing. So I'm an animal lover in that regard, and I have nothing against animals. But I am a believer, and I don't mean to offend anybody by this, of people over animals. I don't go for people after animals. It's people first, animals second, and that's how I feel about that. Am I a fan of Chinese food? Yes, for sure. Yes, gelatin is made from cow's hoof. I thought it was horse's hoof, but whatever. Yes, I've had a buffalo burger. As I recall, it tastes. I didn't have many in my life, but I've tried it, and as I recall, it tastes just like a regular burger. I think. Do I prefer McCartney 2, or McCartney 3? Well, these days, right now, I prefer McCartney 3, the newest one, and that's only because it's I think because it's newer, and it's not as played out, and I'm not as like overly overdosed on it. Do I think it's the best one? Probably not, but I like all three of them for different reasons. I should give Duran Duran's greatest hits a listen. Well, I do like a bunch of Duran Duran songs. The most popular ones that you know. So top Chinese food meals. There's something called Dragon in Phoenix that I like, which not all Chinese restaurants have this. Dragon in Phoenix. It's got white rice. It's got General Tso's chicken, usually, and it's got shrimp, I think, all in sweet sauce. Of course, I like the sweet sauce, right? But um, or sometimes they make it differently. It's got different things in it. I like shredded pork with garlic sauce. I like garlic sauce, beef with garlic sauce. I also like sweet and sour pork, all that kind of stuff. But when you're trying to eat well, when you're trying to avoid the sugar, then I avoid that stuff. I try to eat just something without sweet sauce, you know. Yeah, orange chicken for the same reasons. I like lo mein. 100 videos at all the versions of McCartney 3. Whew. There weren't quite 100, but there may be a good 20. I don't know, something like that. Uh, General Tsao was, I believe, Sergeant Pepper's cousin. I think. I don't know. Okay, folks, I'm going to stay on for another just 4 minutes or so, just to go to about 80 minutes, and then we're going to kill it. So let's get all our last comments in, questions in until next time. This has been a lot of fun. Some of these go really well, and I'm enjoying this one a lot. So here we go again. Joe, you don't you love any animals? I answered that question before, okay? I told you I got nothing against animals. I told you how much I love cats. Cats I love the most. However, it's always people ahead of animals. So you people that put animals ahead of people, you need your heads examined. Sorry. And then people say, well, people are nastier than animals. Animals are never always sweet, and they always respect you and all that kind of stuff. That's because they don't freaking talk, and they can't process thoughts and speak of their mind. If they did, your dog would annoy the hell out of you. He'd be sitting there telling you, like, what he thinks of politics, or your dog would be telling you, this and that, and bugging you about what kind of food you're giving them and stuff. So there you go. But I will say this, Woodland, as you know, I love veal. I love the veal Parmesan hero. That I love, veal Parmesan. That I do love. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Very tasty. Yes, indeed. And meat, the natural human diet. I agree 100%. And that's a good note to end on. So you guys can stew on that for a while. Stew over that for a while. And we'll talk about it next time, okay? One last thing here. Do you think Ringo's self-titled album is as good as Imagine and Band on the Run, All Things Must Pass? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. All right, everybody. So that's it for now. Thank you all for your questions and comments. Thank you all for watching. I'll try to be here next Saturday around the same time to do this again. So we'll talk soon, eh? All right, everybody. Take it easy. Talk soon. You got it, Mo. Later, folks.